Hello, and welcome back to another video. We've just, I believe, come off of Sega Saturn month, so I figured I'd mix it up a bit and talk about my time with the Wii. Now, I grew up as a Nintendo boy. I was a big old Nintendo boy. I had, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Pokemon, the whole 9 yards. My first major console was the GameCube, but I wanted to talk about the Wii today because I was thinking a lot about that period in my life. That time where, my parents were together. They're not anymore, which is fine. Things change. But I always remember the Wii. I especially remember the Wii and the slight drama involved with it. Now, my first experience of the Wii was, like many people's, around a friend's house. You'd go around a friend's house. You'd spend, hours. Hours around friends' houses, looking at new consoles. That's where I played the PS2 for the first time. And the Wii, for me, was the first time I'd encountered anything like motion controls. Now, I know they were around with a couple of things. There was an old console called the Image X, I think it was called. Could be wrong. I watched a video on that recently. That had motion controls. There was the iToy, which did connect better than the Kinect ever did, which is quite amusing. Then there was the Amigo on the Dreamcast. But the Wii was the first major console to really buckle down on that motion console trend, but in doing so, it went, oh yes, we're going to become the most wanted console of, I think it was 2007. I'd gotten a 360 that year, so I was very into Halo. I was playing a lot of Gears of War, Lost Planet. I got Mass Effect that Christmas. But from what I remember, my parents were looking for a Wii. And this was peak Wii selling out everywhere. Absolutely bloody everywhere. Nowhere had a Wii. Absolutely nowhere had a Wii. And my mum was pretty set on getting it for my brother and sister and myself. Although it was never really mine. The Wii was never really my system. So my dad goes, oh, okay, I'm going across the pond. I'm going across the coast and down into France to do some shopping anyway. I'm going to the hypermarket on the other side of the Channel Tunnel. And he comes back with a Wii. He came back with a Wii and, yeah. He came back with this French-ass Wii. And there's nothing wrong with it. It was perfectly usable in English. But my mum was like, what are you doing? What if we need to take it back? What if it's broken? This thing still works nearly 20 years later. And, great. Bit dusty. But it does work. It does work. And that's what I find funny. It's just that little story. She was like, oh, I can't believe you bought a French Wii. And I'm like, yeah, it's a French Nintendo Wii. And we didn't care. We didn't care it was French. We didn't care that it had the same power plug. Didn't matter. Oh no, it didn't. It didn't have the same power plug. I don't think it did. I think it had a European one, which was hilarious. But we tracked down, or somebody did. Or it did come with that. I can't remember exactly. But it did have that very specific power plug. And we played the snot out of it. We played Wii Sports, as everyone played Wii Sports. We had so many different games for this thing that I just kind of didn't care about. I mean, I'd gotten a 360 that year. I had an Xbox 360. I'd moved on from Nintendo. I was no longer Nintendo. I was super not into Nintendo. That changed. That changed very quickly. Xbox forever. No. Not anymore. Absolutely not. But I've gone back to being a Nintendo boy. It's just, the Wii was such a blip for me. It couldn't compare to the GameCube. It never did. It didn't have the games on it that I really was invested in, but I have such strong memories of playing Wii Sports and playing like so many different really fucking weird games. I remember really putting off buying Smash Bros. Brawl because my friends at the time had kind of made it unfun to play. They made it really unfun to play. They just kept absolutely destroying me in that fucking game. And, you know, I love Smash Bros. Brawl. I love it more for its single player, though. And I think that's really the main advantage of Smash Bros. Brawl, is its single player is so bloody good. It's so bloody good. And it's playable with the GameCube controller. That's unfortunately kind of how I play most of my Wii games. I've got a few here to talk about. I've got a couple of honourable mentions. But, yeah, you know what? This is a top 10, after all. Smash Bros. There's no particular order, however. We'd like to stress. This is a top 10. So, we've got at number 10, Smash Bros. Brawl. I enjoy Smash Bros. Brawl. However, it has some issues. That time from when I was younger did colour my opinion of the game. I liked the fact you could play as Sonic. I thought that was really cool. I don't think Pac-Man's in this one. Pac-Man's in 4. But yeah, I didn't know who the hell Solid Snake was at this. Actually, you know what? I did because my friend had a PS3 and I didn't. I didn't get a PS3 for another like 3 years. And even then, that wasn't really mine. My brother had it. Although now he's giving it back, so thanks, Al. Thanks, bro. But yeah. Brawl was different. Brawl was a different beast, and I'm not sure if it's a beast I enjoyed at the time. Nowadays, yeah, you have to be in a very specific mood to play Brawl. It's not my go-to Smash Bros. Game. That at the moment is Ultimate, occasionally 4, and Melee. When I play Smash, typically multiplayer, it's Melee. And that's okay. You don't have to play Brawl all the time to appreciate it. Or I don't think you have to play games all the time to appreciate them. But Brawl for me, it's play through it single player with 4 people. It's really good. Or 2 people. It's a very solid time. There were other games around that time. A big one for me, actually. I was super into Overlord. Now, Overlord is a series that is just basically you're an asshole with Pikmin. And I went on a huge buying spree of all of them. And you know what? I really have a soft spot for Overlord Dark Legend. Like a real soft spot for this game. It's garbage. But, it doesn't compare to 1. And it doesn't compare to 2 either. But Overlord Dark Legend is a very solid game that uses the Wiimote very, very, very well. And I played a bucket load of that. I played an absolute bucket load of that game, and it's so much fun. It's genuinely a lot of fun. But it's very linear. It's single player only. There's no multiplayer like the other 4 Overlord games. Overlord 1 had it. Overlord 2, Face of Evil, Rings of Evil, something, whatever the crap last game was, and Minions that had multiplayer from what I remember. But yeah, it wasn't an immediate go-to for me. It wasn't an immediate go-to, but it's not a game I dig out, and I haven't probably played in about 10 years. But to be fair, I don't really play the Wii anymore, which is a shame because the Wii U exists and I could just put them in that, but I don't. And I've got a whole SD card in there, ready to go. Speaking of, on that SD card is a game called Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles My Life as a King. And I don't own that physically because it's never been released physically. I do have the other Crystal Chronicles games on here, so these are going to just kind of stand in for that particular game. It's a lot of fun. It's a game about being a king of this kingdom, and you slowly build up the capital city using the power of architect. Of course. Very, 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 Very Final Fantasy, that name. But yeah, a download title. I mean, if they ever released that game again, I'd buy it. I'd buy it. I never got My Life as a Dark Lord, which is a shame, but it's a very solid game. I mean, I've played the other two. This one, Crystal Bearers, yeah, not great. Not great. Not a great game. I genuinely don't think it's particularly compelling. I did want to get it again, but it lacks the multiplayer kind of element that made the original so bloody good. There are other Wii games I want. I'm not a huge collector of the Wii, because I don't bloody play it. But I did want Echoes of Time. I love Crystal Chronicles in general. It probably goes the original on GameCube, then My Life as then My Life as King, probably Echoes of Time, which is this one, and then probably Crystal Bearers, and then is there another one? Yeah, I think there's like 2 on the DS, and they're not very good because one of them is just this. This game's okay. This game's very solid. It's not amazing, but it's okay. It's a solid experience. It's not as good as the first one. It just isn't. And neither of the Wii ones are as good as My Life as a King. That game is just really good. And Square Enix, if you're listening, release them on the Switch. How does that sound? Very nice. Thank you. Wii Sports. Yes, Wii Sports. I don't own Wii Sports anymore. It's gone missing somewhere down the line. So I picked up Wii Sports Resort recently. Like 12... It's all of it. It's all of the original Wii Sports done very, very well. And you know what? Adding a bucket load more stuff like canoeing and swordplay and wakeboarding and frisbee and a lot of different games. I think it's missing tennis, though. It's just blanketly missing tennis. What the heck? I have to get the Wii U version, which I think is called Wii Sports U or something like that. Or Wii U Sports or some crap. But Wii Sports Resort is a very, 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 very solid game. Kind of does bring back memories of playing Wii Bowling, as everyone played Wii Bowling back then. Every single person on Earth has played Wii Bowling at least some point in their lives. And it's good. It's stupid, and it's gimmicky, and it's lame, and just so many other things. So many other things. It's currently sitting at number 4 if you've lost count, because My Life as King was on there. But yeah, I do like Wii Sports. Wii Sports Resort does actually knock it out of the park for me. I haven't played Wii U Sports, which is odd because I've got most other Wii U exclusives. I even got Wii Party U. Who's playing that? But yeah, the Wii was very good at one particular genre above pretty much everything else, and that was light gun games. Now, I don't own House of the Dead Overkill, which is insane, because I own every other House of the Dead game short of, I want to say 4, because I've got the Saturn one of 1, I've got the Dreamcast version of 2, I don't own Typing of the Dead. I do own House of the Dead Remake, and it is borderline unplayable. Borderline unplayable. The Switch doesn't register it at all. House of the Dead 1 and 2 Returns. Very, 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 very nice. Very nice port. Very playable. Very, very playable. I know there was a lot of light gun games. It's kind of, the Wii was kind of the last bastion for that particular genre. You do not see light gun games nowadays because the technology to do it just isn't around anymore. It just isn't. And that's a shame, because you got stuff like House of the Dead Extraction, which is excellent. That's a very, very good game. Same with, oh goodness, what else was it called? Sin and Punishment. No, not Sin and Punishment. I need to pick that up. That's on my list. That's on my list of big fat Wii U games to play. But, yeah, not my, a shame. A shame, because House of the Dead's just genuinely a lot of fun. The old Terminator game, Terminator Salvation arcade game was excellent. Same with the old Terminator game, actually, the old light gun one. They're all very good, and the Wii was great for that. The Wii was excellent for that genre alone. I wish it had House of the Dead 4. It would have been so playable. But you don't get that anymore. No Time Crisis anymore. There's no Time Crisis. It's just a genre long gone. Maybe I'll bust the Wii out again. Just to play House of the Dead and all these games. But certain shooters didn't work so well. Like The Conduit. The Conduit is a tricky beast for me. I want to like it more than I do. I want to like it. I like High Voltage. I like the games that they make. They're very particular. This game was supposed to be like a big shooter, a big mystery, and a lot of like Illuminati conspiracy crap that's very, very cool. And the controls are borderline unusable because it's on the Wii. No, they're not unusable, but they're not particularly fluid. It's very hard to go back and play the Wii nowadays, at least as far as I'm concerned, because so many of the games require you to have, I don't know. It's very antiquated motion controls in comparison to today. I mean, you can plug on a VR headset and it'll work one-to-one flawlessly, regardless of what controller you're using. Not the case with the Wii. The Wii had lag, it had motion delay, which is why when Conduit 2 came out and went, oh, you can use the classic controller, I was like, great, I can play this fucking game. And you know what? It's batshit. This is a completely insane game with Wii Motion Plus compatibility. Lovely if you want to use that. That basically made the Wii more responsive, but only certain games are compatible. But Conduit 2, this game basically goes, hey, you know all that conspiracy stuff? Yeah, you're now in Atlantis, you're fighting Jade, Samurai, and Washington, and George Washington and Abraham Lincoln are going to show up in the end of Power Armor, and we're never going to explain it. Great. That's fine. Will we ever go to Conduit 3? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think that's a shame. It'd be nice. I'd love to see a sequel to this. But I don't think we'll get it. Conduit 2, though, do recommend, actually. Yeah, very playable. Very playable. A lot of fun. Very similarly, Mad World. Mad World is probably, again, one of the very few mature rated games. In fact, I don't really own any others. Probably the only 18-plus game on the Wii that I actually own. Because it is covered in blood. There are 3 colours in this game, black, white, and red, for all the blood. And it's brutal and gory, and I love it. I love its design. It looks like Sin City, and it's excellent. Like, Sin City is a very, very solid movie, from what I'm given to understand. But Mad World is basically what if you took that art style and turned it into a video game. Very strong opening salvo from Platinum Games. And kind of the start of my love-hate relationship with them. I love all their early stuff. I don't own Infinite Space anymore, and that game is very expensive nowadays. I may get it again. We'll see. Probably not. But, yeah. I mean, then we got Bayonetta. Bayonetta 1 is amazing. Vanquish. Anarchy Reigns. Metal Gear Rising. Then they went, hey, Bayonetta 2, Wonderful 101, excellent games on the Wii U, very solid. A big part of why I love that console so much were the Platinum games on it, and then they went, hey, guess what? We're making a live service game that's going to collapse in a year. Right. And we made Astral Chain that you'll hate. And I did. And we're going to make Bayonetta 3, which is also bad. Okay, what else? We made Star Fox Zero. Now, the Wii didn't have a Star Fox game. There was one in development, from what I am able to recall, but there wasn't really a... Yeah, that didn't exist. Not until the Wii U, and that all collapsed, but we're not here to talk about the Wii U. There was one flying game that I did really enjoy, though, and that's Knight's Journey of Dreams. I'm not a huge Knights fan. A friend of mine is. Huge Knights fan. Massive Knights fan. But I'm not... So this was a nice, pleasant little surprise, ignoring some of the voice acting, which is just bad. Yuji Naka, the creator of Sonic, came back to work on this, which is lovely. made a very solid pseudo little Chow garden. So if you played Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, you can get what are called Chow. In this, you get, I think they're called Nitopians, and they're weird, but they're kind of fun. Solid multiplayer, interesting gameplay, very on rails like the classic Knights, but I argue a worthy successor or sequel. But not the best game. Not the best game Knights has pumped out, to be fair. That goes almost strictly to, well, the first one. And Christmas Night. Good game. Good games. Two games that I, again, very love-hate, like a lot of the Wii. The Red Steel duology. The first one I want to like more than I do. It's very, very hideously ambitious. It's hideously ambitious in what you can do in the there's a multiplayer that's actually very solid. There's a whole video from a fella online whose name escapes me, which is great. It's called the Red Steel multiplayer meta game. Just type it in on YouTube and find it. I really like that guy's video. If I remember what it is, I'll post his name in the comments, but sorry, in the description. But yeah, Red Steel is the Wiimote. it's the Wiimote. It turns out, and I only found this out a couple of weeks ago, and to the point where I've written myself a little note about it, if you turn off the Wiimote's sound, it increases controller accuracy. Ahahaha. I wrote his name in here, because I can see into the future. The Camo Bot. The Camo Bot on YouTube. Very solid channel. A lot of weird stuff that I love. I love people covering stuff that people don't normally talk about, and this was a big part of it, because this is a game he had. Will be inspiring a sort of idea I have concocting in the background called Forgotten Multiplayers. I've got a whole list, including the Wii, of games I want to cover, which is very, very exciting. If I can find the list for the Wii. Dreamcast, PS2, lot of original Xbox, GameCube, Wii. A lot of games, multiplayer-wise, that I own on the Wii that have multiplayers that nobody fucking talks about. Nobody talks about them. And that's okay. Speaking of multiplayer, the one for this, it's a multiplayer I want to play. But it's almost impossible to find anybody who wants to play it, which is a shame. By contrast, Red Steel 2, far more controllable, far more Western. This was very heavily rooted in Japanese, like, Yakuza culture. By contrast, Red Steel 2 is a Western that has nothing to do with the original game. They just kind of came along and went, hey, we've made a sequel where the controls are actually playable. Oh good, is there a multiplayer? No. Right, okay. And what else? You need Wii Motion Plus. Right, okay, that's fine. Great. Not a terrible game. Not as interesting as the first one to talk about. The first one's a very bizarre, not even failure. I wouldn't call it a failure because it was so flipping ambitious, and it really was a case of creating something that was not well optimized. I think there's even a little bit from the developers in here, just somewhere. I could be wrong. Yeah. Oh no, that's Conduit 2 and Conduit 1. There's direct talking from the developers to us in the manual, which is quite nice. But yeah, Red Steel, solid games. Solid games. A bit slow and sometimes kind of hard to use. Unlike the sequel to Sonic Riders on the original Xbox, which is a game I cannot get into at all. By contrast, Zero Gravity is immediately playable. It's a lot simpler, there's a lot less awkwardness and garbage controls. It's a very, very playable and enjoyable racing game, especially from Sonic, who has a mixed history when it comes to racing games. I mean, Sonic R is garbage, but I love it. Sonic Drift is okay. the transformed games are beautiful in execution, then Team Sonic Racing is hot bollock garbage. And then the less said about the Kinect version, or the Kinect sequel to this, the better. But I think personally Zero Gravity is probably the peak of that particular little mini group, that little sub-series of Sonic games. I only picked this up recently, actually, because I didn't own it. I was like, I've got every game on the Wii. I've got every Sonic game on the Wii, that's fun. Didn't have Zero Gravity, like an idiot. So, to go out and buy it. I think it was like 12 quid, so it wasn't unusual. The final game I'm going to talk about today, and probably the one I've got the fondest memories for, and kind of wish Nintendo would bring back, and if they ever do, I will eat my hat. There's a few games Nintendo doing anything new or good with. I would eat my own hat. Kid Icarus. Where's my Kid Icarus port? Now I could be eating my words, and they announced one at the next Direct, which I think is from the recording of this video a couple of weeks. But the other is Battalion Wars. I really liked 2, like, a lot. It's way easier to control. It's not as obnoxious or as difficult as the first one. It's more robust. It had an online multiplayer, which I wish that was still active. Or I wish Nintendo would go, hey, you know, we haven't done anything with Battalion Wars for like 15 years. Do you want to port the second one to the Switch? Done, great, bought, end of story. Throw in like a co-op, throw in like a split screen or a local player option. I'm all over it. This game is excellent. It's genuinely just very, very, very good. You know, just honestly so bloody good. So bloody good. 6 unique armies, co-op, like local online, online co-op, online multiplayer on the Wii. The Wii didn't have online multiplayer. Like, this didn't. This had Wi-Fi features. This didn't have multiplayer. Did I write Mad World on the list? Oh yeah, I did. Conduit 1 and 2 had online multiplayer, but these also had local. Or at least this one did. This one bloody didn't. 12 players online, though. You know, very few games had local multiplayer, online multiplayer. This did. Battalion Wars came out and went, yeah, so guess what? We've got full-blown online multiplayer in kind of the launch window for the Wii. Yeah, 2007. The Wii launched in 2007. I remember getting one for Christmas. Alongside Mass Effect. Very happy with Mass Effect. But if you want to hear my story about that Christmas with Mass Effect, watch the video. Watch the Mass Effect one. But yeah, that's just kind of me. If I had to pick my favourite Wii game out of this lot, toss up between maybe Battalion Wars 2, Conduit 2, and maybe Mad World. Yeah. I do have other games, obviously. I do have Super Mario Galaxy, but I didn't care very much. I never bought 2, don't really care. Yeah. A lot of games on the Wii. I don't know. It's a system I want to get into more, but big crux for me is its motion controls. I do have a soft spot for it though, and the reason I keep it around is because, well, quite frankly, it's got those memories attached to it. I need to get a copy of Wii Sports. Isn't that insane? I don't own Wii Sports. I don't own Wii Sports. We used to. It's gone missing. I don't know where. We used to have WarioWare Smooth Moves. I ended up getting a copy of that for myself because I bought my own Wii. Because this one was sat in my mum's house for a very long time, and then finally I just got a message going, "Take it with you. Take it with you. Take the Wii." I was like, "Okay, mine." I used to play Wind Waker on this thing. Yeah, because it was plugged into the telly all the time, but nobody played it, which is a shame. It's underutilised. But anyway, That's it for another week. I don't really know what I'll talk about next week. Maybe I'll delve into some of the stuff I've been picking up recently, or maybe I'll save that to the end of the month when I turn 31. But yeah, if you want to see more WII videos, let me know. I can go over my whole collection. That could be interesting. But this is just kind of my top 10 slash 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 13, 14, 15. 15. My top 15 WII games. I may just blanketly say top 10 in the video title. We'll see. I record these like a few days in advance. Anyway, that's it. I'm signing off. Have a good week, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. All that good juice. See you next time.